Welcome to GovDirections Business Intelligence webinar. Today we're going to talk about our third level service, Business Intelligence, and how your company can use this service to help propel ahead. My name is Mark. I'm one of the founders of GovDirections, and we're here today to give you this personal demonstration. Just as a reminder, we were founded in 1998. Our company's primary objective is to make sure that you receive, as a private contractor, access in a very quick and reliable way to local, state, and federal government requests for proposals, invitations to bid, and other active requests such as RFIs and quotes in a timely basis. Each day, about 5,000 new listings are issued by these various agencies. We gather them and pull them together and classify them in particular industries. What you'll find is that the federal government information is already aggregated, most of it at FBO, plus there's a couple of other locations we monitor. And then each state and provincial agency has their own location, all throughout the United States and Canada, plus our territories and other subnational level agencies. And then we have about 35,800 plus cities and towns that exist, some 3,000 plus counties, almost 13,000 individual schools, as well as our new charter school systems and other types of semi-private school districts that are issuing new procurements. Just over 38,000 special districts. These include organizations that work for hospitals or govern hospitals, airports, parks, recreation, transit districts, and other special districts that oftentimes exist solely for the ability to procure on behalf of those individual agencies. You'll find that the information is there. It's publicly available somewhere. It's not a broken system, but it certainly is fragmented. And GovDirections offers our services to gather that data. Our viewing options themselves, we provide access to federal listings at no charge, freely available, plus a daily alert of new opportunities. And then you can add on all active home state or the national service. These include bids that are assigned a due date. The document's been prepared, and they're out on the streets now looking for a response as quickly as possible. Oftentimes you receive days ahead of time notice, up to 30, 45 days, but not a lot of lead time. So in about 2006, we founded a service called our Business Intelligence, which includes the earliest lead time available. And these are upcoming opportunities that we know are coming. They're just not on the streets yet. We find that information through sources such as the individual budgets of local government. And here's a quick page that kind of shows you and illustrates how this works. And to start any kind of video on our system, if it doesn't automatically load, just click that white box, and you'll see just an illustration of how the system works. But our graduate level trained staff going through the budgets of local governments that are available in the development stage as well as an approved stage, where local stewards are talking about how they're going to spend their money in procurement. The spending plans are outlined and detailed and agreed to by community leaders, and then talked about in a document published. And we pull that information out, often in very hidden places within a very large document that unless you're trained in this area, it's hard to see. In addition, we monitor what voters are approving. We monitor the capital plans. Sometimes where governments are saving money for a 5-year basis of planning, and that information is there, so then we know in the next 4 or 5 years they're going to spend this sum of money. There's referendums where governments are talking about projects, and then they're having the individual organizations, individual voters approve those projects, and then we pursue those. In addition, we also monitor awards, so that whenever a government contract is awarded, and it's something we know is on a routine basis over every year or two, or even a triennial basis, then we're telling you ahead of time when that bid's going to come up for renewal, so that you can get in there and start practicing your more traditional business practices, where you go out and gather and win contracts working with individuals directly. You'll find that that's often the best way to make sure they understand the specifications needed to give yourself a leg up potentially. In addition, it might be projects that are products that could be sole sourced. But just to say that in that cycle, that part of the cycle, there's more flexibility, and it's not in that final bid stage. And so that's why you need to have that as a service and how it can help you in that process. Each day, those bids are brought in and classified in the upcoming opportunities within particular categories. Of course, in the old days, we all focused on things such as NAICS codes, NAICS codes, or the NIGP codes, and other coding systems that most of us just don't have the time to learn. So we have a dedicated research staff who takes that information, crosswalks each bid to these industry categories that we serve. We serve just over 89,000 companies who are built around these particular groupings. As they come in, they're assigned to those, and then you can go through and view them based on your preferences. Your upcoming listings always contain the word upcoming in front of them, but these are bids that we got a kind of a guesstimated due date, as well as the state that it's in, the industry that we catalog them in, and the type or the level. And at this point, the information does become toggable so that you can actually sort by the title or the due date or the state or the industry. And as you sort those, they become more to your specific categories. This is when you look at do a global view. Otherwise, every day that information is coming to you in your personalized alert. And we're giving you information such as, for example, here's one, an upcoming bid for planning and engineering. And the government's actually got a budget number assigned to this one that they anticipate spending. And so this is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is a project that the city council has recently approved for the general obligation bond, and that's coming up. And so that bond has been discussed potentially at a council meeting. Let's click here. This is the original source where we found that information. And so as you click through there, it opens up a PDF. The PDF is there down in front of you. And so this is just a one item document that our researchers are gathered from. And then as you, they would have to have gone in just a little bit more detail. And you'll see at this point, there's a document on their consent agenda. And even still more documents you have to review. And so our researchers have went in and looked, and there it is, the details for the actual project. So they've had to step through multiple stages to gather their information in order to tell you about this one particular project. So, for example, if you're in the playground equipment business, here's $500,000 worth of bids that are coming forward in the very near future. Shade structures, so that if you've got products, you may want to get out there and start demonstrating those projects. So it's a good way to really get that early lead time. And as you can see, most of these are somewhat large projects, and therefore you want to spend a little bit more time marketing your company to them. But to find all that information is somewhat time consuming, and you would probably find that most people just don't want to invest that time. I think it was Einstein once said that it looks like hard work because you got to put on some overalls and start searching and start working on it. And so it's so you're getting a leg up by having this information available to you. But once again, other places that we found the details as you go through, I'll just show a couple of them here. And we'll go on in individual agencies. Here's one coming up, a potential bush hog for $15,000. You can spend $15,000 just finding the information. So here's a project that we've identified for you really quickly. So we'll give you the budget and the page number that it's on. And here's this city, the Foley, Alabama. Here's a document. Types of bids that standardized searchers are not going to pick up on, that our staff is trained to review, and they're going through all these line items for you on a daily basis to pull out. So here we would find on page 11 the actual bid, the detail, and here we are, that bush hog. So that government is planning on spending $15,000 sometime around March. That should be coming out now. So if you're in the business of selling bush hogs and you want to get your product in front of that local government before they go to that bid stage. And once they go to that bid stage, then you know typically enter in some period of zone of silence where you can't talk to those individuals, and you're responding to the specs that have already been written. And oftentimes you might find that those specs are sort of designed around someone else, and potentially that client could have already had this service and known about this product that they're going to purchase, and already got their specs in front of that individual agency. So it's a very, very worthwhile type of information that can really get you in there early on. So that's the types of data that you'd find here. The information does spike at different points of the year, and we're going to enter into that period now with cities in the process. For the ones that are on a July 1 timeframe are actively reviewing these projects every day in their budget meetings, and our researchers are gathering that information for you. The service is available under option 3 here, and as always, the first time that you purchase from us, you use the word START in all caps, and that'll drop any rate by 50%. Choose the monthly option. We then remind you, if you plan ahead, planners always save money. You get 2 months at no charge. So that the $12.50 product, if you buy that with that code, will drop to $6.25 per year. An excellent deal for roughly $2 a day. You get access to a research staff that's top notch and can provide that information to you on a daily basis. I do appreciate your time and watching this quick webinar, and hopefully if you have any questions, you will reach out to us. We're available at 800-492-8523, 800-492-8523, and anybody here can assist you when you call in, but just tell them that you watched the Business Intelligence webinar and you're after that special rate there, and we want to get you started. Have a good day.